Hey everybody, Joe Haygood here, aka mclazyj. We're back. It is Wednesday. I am finishing up a drive. I'm taking off from the city of LA back to work. And I figured I might as well get one of these recorded since, like I said, we're about 21 days, 3 weeks from our trip. So I figure I'm going to try to record one of these a week to lead up to our trip. Just jumping in the express lane here to get past some of the LA traffic. And also just easier to get to the 10 this way. But driving by Union Station and all that good stuff. But yes, so everything that we needed to book so far is booked. With the exception of Shibuya Sky. You cannot book that until 2 weeks ahead of schedule. So that probably won't get booked until next week. But I'm going to have to be Johnny on the spot on Thursday to kind of book that thing because I do want to try to get a dusk setting for that one because that's the one where it's like Skytree I want to do during the day just because I want to be able to see if I can see Mount Fuji and just get a daytime lay of the land where you can look out and just see the sprawl of Tokyo and just be like, dang, how massive it is. You know, I live in, what we generally refer to as the LA area. The joke around here is that LA, when somebody refers to LA or when somebody thinks about LA externally from somebody that lives here, the external perception is that LA is basically from San Diego until you get to the LA County line, like basically the Angeles Mountains, and then going all the way out almost to state line. People just think of that as like, it's just LA. Well, there's a big difference to that, but as someone that comes from that geographical defined LA area, there are a lot of people that live in this area, a ton of people. We are a commuting city, a commuting county, a commuting region, but not so much public transit as much as, personal vehicles driving and everything, right? But we can't look out from a building. You'll see sprawl, but it doesn't look like it. There's lots of gaps in here and there and everywhere. And there's not the building concentration. Like, you look at a sky shot of Tokyo, and it's just tall buildings everywhere. It's not uncommon to see just tons of buildings that are like 7 to 12 stories tall everywhere. And that's not a very common occurrence. You have that in, like, your downtown area. But, like, once you get out of downtown LA, your buildings are normally 4 or 5 stories at the most. It's very rare when you find, like, a huge, 15, 20-story building outside of that one area. But anyways, the point I was getting at, I want to take daytime shots from that Skytree to get that perception of how large and wide and how, giant Tokyo is. Just this never-ending sprawl of tall buildings. And seeing it from that perspective, 350 meters and 450 meters. I did do both the Tembo and Galleria decks. So 450 meters, that's a lot, man. That's like, I want to say that's probably about 1,500 feet. I could be wrong. My math might be a little off there. I think a meter is 33.6 inches, so just under 3 feet. But, yeah, it's high. If we're going to quibble over, like, hey, it's 1,400 feet versus 1,500 feet. It's high. But, yeah, so Shibuya Sky, however, is shorter. It's like a 46-story building, I believe. Where you're on the roof, but that one's like right in the heart of Shibuya. It looks right down on the Shibuya crossing, and it's a great place if you're going to go there, go at dusk, or even leading into it, because the idea is once you get in, there's nothing that says there's no like finite, like, hey, you have to get out now. I always have to figure, I am on the wrong side. See, I hate this because the writing on the ground isn't as clear as it used to be. And you don't really see a sign there of which side is the bus and which side is the express lane. Anyways, what was I getting at there? So that one, I want to be able to see, like, the sky. Like, Tokyo, one of the things that's great about that I've seen so far is that at nighttime it is such a photogenic town with the lights, the neon, the video screens, the noise, cacophony of sounds, and the sights that come with it, and the lights, and the just bombarding your eyeballs with just constant stimulation, which is great. I love that. These people that talk about like, oh no, I don't want, I'm stimulation overload. No, give it to me, feed me. But the idea is that I want to be able to get that impression of that at night, or even that transition to night. Because one of our goals there in Shibuya is we want to end our day at like the Lost Bar, which is that's Chris Broad's bar over there, the gentleman from abroad in Japan. We've learned a lot from his videos. I would highly recommend checking out his videos if you are going to Japan. Kenshi Quest is another one that I've really enjoyed too. And Samurai Jinjiro. Those are channels I've been watching personally for like a lot of detail on Japan. Abroad in Japan, Chris Broad's lived there for, I think, going on 15 years now. He's living in Japan. Expat from Britain. But he does a lot of detail form videos, and not just on Tokyo, just all of Japan in general. Some great documentaries as well. So you get a lot of lay of the land of Japan as a whole, and not just a focus on Tokyo. Same thing with Kenshi Quest, I think is the name of the channel. I'll try to get all these linked to at the bottom. He lots of stuff on like just ground level, like, hey, here's what happens when you get to Haneda Airport, and like here's what you're going to be going through during the stages of Haneda Airport. So you kind of know what you're walking into. It's a very ABC's kind of like, what's the best way to get from like Tokyo, from Haneda to like Shinjuku or Shibuya. How to get out, how to travel from Narita Airport, and then also like, hey, you want to do like an expedition to like Mount Fuji or this or that. Very like step by step, like I said, it's guide you by numbers kind of approach to things. So I really appreciate those videos. And Samurai Jinjiro, we stumbled upon that channel probably a year and a half ago, and we've been fascinated by the videos on there. It's a man and woman. They're both, I don't know their status or anything, so I don't want to say they're a couple or anything like that, or brother or sister, but it's two people, and they just create a lot of neat content for like districts. Like, here's 20 fun things to do in like Akihabara, or let's check out a Moss Burger and what you'll find at Moss Burger, or here's a cool yakiniku place that you might want to visit in Shibuya that's affordable, and it serves Wagyu and A5 Wagyu on top of it. So it's like those kind of very kind of like neat, in-depth videos on areas like, hey, here's like going to a royal host. So that kind of stuff's kind of really neat, and it gives you kind of some nuts and bolts ideas, and goes into depth on like specific places, areas, and whatnot. So those are the videos I've been watching. I know I just got really sidetracked, but the idea is we want to go to that Lost Bar. We want to get some drinks there. Who knows? Maybe you run into Chris Broad. That would be kind of neat, But if not, hey, you know what? I like what he's done, and it's a way for me to give a little back for the information and the entertainment that I've had, I always think that's a good idea if you can. It's like we joke about Dead by Daylight. It's like, oh yeah, we got an Game Pass, but we've thrown so much money at Dead by Daylight over the years, just buying content packs and people. Like we've given money, we've supported for the enjoyment we've gotten out of that game, or frustration as it can be sometimes. But anyways, also I get to use my new glasses, which have the as you can see, the transition lenses, so they tint when I'm outside or in sunlight. So that's kind of neat. And I like those. You just have to get used to new glasses. It's like for the first 2 hours yesterday, I was just like, oh God, everything seems weird. But by this morning, it's been good. Everything's focused, clear, enjoyable. So, but yeah, excited. Now I'm at that point where the excitement is building for, Japan, and it's like, oh yeah, it's like you want it to be here. The funny thing is you know how it is. It's like with every single vacation. Like I went and, like our trip on Virgin Voyages, we sat there and counted that down, and then you got to 100 days, 50 days, or 60 days, and it was like, oh, we can book our meals. 120 days, oh, we can book our shore excursions, or 90 days, whatever it was. Oh, 120 days. And then oh, we can book our meals now at 60 days, right? And, you're just counting down, and it's like, oh, a month away, and then it's like, oh, man, we got to leave for our flight tomorrow. So there's just this constant, build, for up to that. And then you finally get on the trip. It's like, I remember when it was like, hey, your trip is today, in the app. It's like, oh, get ready to get on board, blah, blah, blah. It's time to sail, sailor, blah, blah, blah. And then it felt like 5 seconds and your cruise was over. And I was like, damn, that went so fast. Even though we went so many places and we saw so many things, it was just over in an instant. And I know this trip to Japan, and all vacations, they're all like that. In the moment, you're all excited, everything, and then you look back and you're like, shit, it's over. I gotta go back to work. Thankfully, I got really lucky. I didn't plan this. I'm truly honest. I did not plan this. But we come back on that Friday, and the Monday is President's Day, and we have that off. So it's like we have an extra day to kind of recoup after our vacation, which is kind of nice, because 17-hour time difference is going to be very weird. I have a feeling that first night there's going to be a lot of hey, I'm up at 3 in the morning, or I'm falling asleep at 2 in the afternoon, and trying to fight through that, especially the first day. But yeah, it's just, we're excited. We're starting to get things finalized. Like I said, I'm watching the yen market because it's right there at around 160. There's a point where I'm thinking hey, I should just pull the trigger on my icing card and fill it to get the max value I can out of the yen. Last night it was at 159.15. Today it's at 158.50. So I'm how long do I want to sit? I have a feeling if it gets down to 157, I'm just going to buy it and just be all right, I'm going to eat it now because I don't want to lose any more. I know it's stupid. It's it's 2 yen. It's probably it's probably literally fractions of pennies. But I just don't want to. I want to get the max value I can from my yen to dollar to yen ratio. So it's I want to squeeze it. So yeah, I next week when I do one of these vlogs, I will give you an itinerary of what we're doing. I have to make that a little more stationary because I can't read obviously while I'm driving. That would be bad. I just recently had a little fender bender, and I don't need another one of those. Nothing major, so everything's good there. Although the driver that I gave him a love tap on the back end. They were trying to, I think, get cash out of me for the accident because I found out their registration. They tried to tell me that they just bought the cars. They didn't have their insurance yet, but I looked at the registration. They've had their car registered for a year, and their driver's license is expired. And I was mad because in the moment I didn't notice it until I got to work, and then I was like, oh shit, I should have called the cops. But good news is they can't go and get their car fixed without having a valid license, according to our insurance. Also, because it apparently was a salvage title vehicle, they have to have the car inspected by Geico before they'll fix it. And I've heard nothing on this claim since it was filed, so I don't know if they just walked away or what. Or they got told, hey, you got to have a valid license to get your car fixed. So really all it is that they need a new the under apron of the bumper needed to be fixed. But other than that, the car was fine. My car's fine too. But moving off of that, yeah, basically we're just excited to be going on our trip. Video game wise, just plugging through the same things. Going to be doing some lost records today for the stream. By the time you watch this, it'll be played and probably up and live, so you'll be able to see that. I didn't get a stream off so far at the beginning of this week, but I plan to probably do that tonight because I have a feeling the boys are going to want to play tomorrow because it's our Flex Friday, and normally A-Lock likes to play on the Thursday night before Flex Friday because he can stay up later and play. Doesn't have to worry about getting up and going to work or job site or anything, so that's fine by me. So I might just do like the Outer Worlds tonight and just do 4 nights straight, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. But yeah, but looking forward to it, excited, a little nervous, 12-hour flight. It's the longest flight I'm going to have in my life. Up to this point, my longest flight was probably about 8.5 hours, maybe 9 hours. I was a kid. We did do just under 5 recently when we went to Miami. That was a good long flight. I think our flight to Charlotte to Raleigh was a little shorter because we went through Atlanta and then up. The other time we went through Orlando and then across. So both of those were a little shorter. I thought about going to Porto's, but I'm probably not. If you're from the LA area, you know what Porto's is. It's like a very famous bakery. People love it. Potato balls, that's what they get. Everyone loves potato balls, but I am probably going to go pick myself up some lunch before I get back to the office. So until next time, thanks everybody for watching. Like I said, I'm going to try to do another one of these every week on Wednesday, which is basically the day that we leave. We leave Friday the 4th at like 10:15 a.m. So next week I'll try to do one before I start work in the morning. I'll try to get into work a little early and we'll record one. So that's going to do it. We'll see you then.